welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball, the hottest day in a string of hot days here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals hosting the Miami Marlins, Game 2 here this afternoon. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton with Al Roboski. The Cardinals were unable to come from behind in Game 1. They lost here last night. They could not come up with a timely hit.
Tough loss. They were 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They made 3 critical errors, and they wasted a very good, strong starting performance.
And we'll take a look at our starting pitchers for this afternoon's game. We'll have that when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. In the Cardinal rotation.
Really eating up innings. He's got that ERA at 2.80. He is really just keeping the ball down, keeping it in the ballpark, and really not walking that many. He is really emerging as one of the best pitchers in the National League.
Looking for victory number 9 here this afternoon. An old friend will pitch for Miami. We'll look at Carlos Zambrano when we come back. The series with the Marlins here this afternoon, and they will face a guy they've seen quite a bit. Carlos Zambrano will be making his 30th start against the Cardinals, joining Arroyo and Oswalt with 30 each.
Not the dominant pitcher he once was, and the Cardinals saw him in Miami where he was good after the first inning. He allowed 5 first-inning runs and lost that ball game. He's 0-3 in his last 5 starts.
There's your pitching matchup. Loesch and Zambrano. Fans filing in. Warm afternoon. First pitch is next on Fox Sports Midwest. Times are waiting. Grab some buds. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Welcome inside Busch Stadium. Temperatures at 106 at game time. Cardinals have taken the field, and as they were headed out, Adam Wainwright and Jace Westbrook doing their thing. A little patty cake, I guess.
Must be a Georgian thing.
Must be. It's been fun to watch Adam and all of his gyrations. He knows how to have fun, that's for sure. There's the temperature. Might get a little bit hotter. Kyle Loesch will face the following Marlins batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, and Carlos Lee. The newest Marlin go 1, 2, 3. Stanton back in the lineup. Morrison, Ruggiano, Solano, the former Cardinal, Hayes, and Zambrano. The batting order for Miami. Kyle Loesch has been sensational most of this season. He was 4-0 in the month of April, and he's 8-2.
8-2, and should have at least 2 or 3 more wins. He also has 2 victories against the Marlins. Pitched very effectively in both of those, so hopefully that will continue. But he's got a tough mound opponent in Zambrano, especially here in St. Louis.
Pitches well here, and a good first pitch fastball from Kyle Loesch, and we're underway.
Ricky, Kyle Loesch knows how to pitch with his fastball. He can really spot it. It's not going to light up the radar screen like everybody else, but he's more effective with it than most. Just pitches on the corners and down in the zone.
The 0-2 pitch is hit hard to center. John Jay, as always, making it look easy. So Loesch gets his first man. Here's the outfield defense for the Cardinals. Holiday, Jay, and Beltran. On the infield for Call and Schumacher up the middle. David Freese and Alan Craig at the corners. And Tony Cruz getting the start again behind the plate. Loesch will pitch. Our Dobbs Cardinals defense. David Freese, a rough game yesterday defensively.
You know, he made 3 errors in the last 2 games, but that is totally not like David Freese. Only 7 on the year, and as I say, 3 in the last 2 games. He's played very well defensively, and I'm sure he'll turn it around.
Sun shining a bit brighter if that's possible.
Ricky, I talked to my wife a couple minutes ago. She said it was raining in front net. 1 cloud, raining. Of course, everyone's still in the pool.
Well, there's a number of people here at the ballpark today, too. Good for them.
I think
I'm impressed.
Maybe one of these times, if it rained right here, all the players would be out there, the fans would stay in the seats and
have a party.
No one would complain.
Popped up on the right side. Craig has it. 2 outs. Kyle Loesch all season long has continued the low pitch counts, and that's going to be important here on a hot day in the Midwest.
See these sunglasses, but looking up into a very high sky, battling that sky, and almost hit it in the heel of the glove where it could pop out, but there's a Braccabrella. Now that makes sense. Wonder who invented that.
He was here at the ballpark last night. He and Jackie.
There he is. Of course, the original ones had multicolor.
Didn't they spin around a little bit too?
No.
I just remember it that way. No. I don't know. I was so young. I just don't remember.
I was surprised you were born.
One and 2 to Carlos Lee. Lee has 5 career home runs against Kyle Loesch. 3-time All-Star, has joined this club, and Ozzie Guillen talking before the game about how much he appreciates having Carlos Lee in the middle of the lineup. He thinks he's going to help their offense. Ground ball to short for Call, has it, and he throws him out. Good quick inning for Kyle Loesch. For Call, Jay, and Holiday when we come back. Call, John Jay and Matt Holiday in the first. For Call dealing with a shin issue. Holiday hit on the elbow yesterday. They're both in the lineup. Beltran, Craig, Freese, Schumacher, Tony Cruz, and Kyle Loesch, the starting 9.
Congratulations. I wonder if they thought it was going to be warm in St. Louis on July. Easy.
Carlos Zambrano, you mentioned Al, pitches very well at this ballpark.
His very first start was against Matt Morris back in 2003 here at Busch Stadium. He lost that ball game 1-0. And since that time, he's won 7 straight out of 12 starts, but 7 straight decisions. And he's trying to break 0 for 3 and has not won in his last 5 starts.
One of those starts against St. Louis on the 26th of June. A rematch of Loesch and Zambrano. And you mentioned the unearned runs in that first inning, really his undoing. He didn't pitch that poorly.
Well, they were unearned runs until Major League Baseball changed it. And it was Tony La Russa that changed. It was, Mike Matheny asked for a ruling, and they changed it. Remember the ground ball that got by Reyes? It was scored in error. Well, then they turned it to a base hit, so he got 4 earned runs.
Hard hit in the gap in right center field by Furcal. This is back at the track, and it's caught by the right fielder Stanton. Stanton tested early.
Stanton's been missing in action with a bad knee, but showed that he's still very mobile, getting to that drive right at the fence out in right center. Well, Giancarlo, it's over there. He is their lone all-star representative, and there was a little question whether he was going to be able to go, but I'm sure he pinch hit last night, and now by playing today and hopefully tomorrow, he will keep his roster spot.
We noticed the last time we saw Zambrano that he's starting the little Ryan Dempster thing with his glove.
Picked that up in Miami, and there's a little twist.
Dempster started that because he felt as if he was tipping some pitches, so he kind of developed that habit to stop from doing it.
Right. So by doing that, the hitter really doesn't see the change in grip.
Fly ball to left is going to drop in front of Logan Morrison. John Jay goes the other way. He continues to hit Zambrano well. Take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. There's the record you talked about. Last 5 starts, 0-3 record. ERA close to 9. And how about those walks?
Yeah, 22 walks in 22 innings. And more than a hit per inning. You see the reason why the ERA is high. So John Jay now is 6 for 11 against Zambrano. But Big Z has been able to contain the big threats in the middle of the Cardinal order.
There's a line drive to left, right at Morrison. Well centered by Matt Holliday. The newest All-Star, but he is retired. The defense behind Zambrano been a little shaky this year for the Marlins. Morrison and Stanton, decent arms in the outfield, especially Stanton. Solano and Reyes up the middle. Ramirez a converted shortstop. Lee at first. Brett Hayes will catch here this afternoon, and Zambrano will pitch. Our Dobbs Marlins defense. The way this game is, John Jay flares one to left, gets a base hit.
And then Matt Holliday hits one you could not hit any harder, but right at the left fielder. Talk about hitting it on the sweet part of the bat. And that really is what Matt Holliday is. He's a high average line drive hitter that gets any elevation. He'll hit that ball, would have been out of the park.
Carlos Beltran has not hit Zambrano well over the years.
The 65 RBIs leads the National League, and think about Holliday, the push he's put on. He's only 9 away from the league leader.
A deserving All-Star.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Change up, way out in front.
Nobody would have questioned whether if Matt Holliday would have been selected by the players or the manager. Zambrano, not the power pitcher he once was.
Zambrano with all of his walks. The Cardinals may be a little more patient with him than the Marlins are with Kyle Lohse. Lohse, a lot of first pitch strikes, not a lot of deep counts. Zambrano, quite the opposite.
Good point. You go up there and make sure you don't expand your zone. And
hard hit on the ground. Solano throws out Beltran. So the Cardinals strand a runner in the first. We're underway. Years old today, a big Cardinal fan. He's watching our telecast today. And Mr. Lorsbach, congratulations and go Cardinals.
No doubt about that. Yeah, 100 years old.
Giancarlo Stanton making his first All-Star appearance on Tuesday. 34 home runs last year for the Marlins. And he's behind in the count 1-2. You mentioned he pinch hit last night.
Struck out.
And he struck out. That came against Fernando Salas, who looked pretty good.
He had missed a few days. Now it's again.
Flare to right, and it's going to drop in front of Beltran, and will just be a base hit for Stanton.
Stanton will strike out plenty. Not a great average, but boy, can he hit some majestic home runs. So down and away, just right off the end of the bat. So a very good pitch. Lohse doesn't get rewarded, but in the other sense, keep this guy to a single, you're okay.
One of those majestic home runs came against Kyle Lohse in Miami.
456 feet, I believe. I think he's already hit like 450 plus home runs in their new stadium.
Tremendous power. He's the runner at first. Wouldn't expect to see him going. First day starting. Bunt attempt for Logan Morrison is fouled off. Morrison homered here last night, and that was really the difference in the game. His 8th inning home run off of Michael Clado.
I remember in Miami, he hit a big pinch hit home run off of Sam Freeman, and that was the difference in a Cardinal victory or a loss. They lost that game on that home run. It's a Kansas City native. Went to the same junior college that Albert went to, Maplewood.
There's a 9-game hitting streak. A little surprised he's bunting for a hit.
Yes, I think he sees that David Freese is back and maybe think about that. I mean, almost hope that you don't make contact, but put that in the mind of the defense.
Good changeup from Lohse.
Lohse has got good stuff. I mean, it's apparent that the only time he has not pitched well was when he was injured. And it was such a mysterious injury. No one really knew what was going on there. He pitched through it for quite a while and was not effective. But since he's been healthy, he has been one of the best pitchers in the league. Didn't get that call from Jerry Davis, who, by the way, the St. Louisan, makes his home in Wisconsin now, but Jerry Davison, I think, is the home plate umpire for the All-Star game.
And congratulations for that honor.
Yeah.
He's the crew chief and has the plate here this afternoon. And it is a hot assignment for him. Fly ball to left. Holiday towards the line. Has it.
Understand, Ricky, though, the weather is really going to break, and they're predicting temperatures like 89, 90 in Kansas City for Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully it'll be much more comfortable, because if it's 89, 90 Monday and Tuesday in Kansas City, that means that weather's coming here too.
That's the good news. Justin Ruggiano, 9-game hitting streak as well. Both he and Morrison have been hot, batting over 400 as a Marlin. Had 200 at-bats in 3 seasons with Tampa Bay, and his average cumulatively just at 226. But really having a breakout season here. Ozzie Guillen keeps putting him in the lineup. And that's why. A long one, and I mean a long one, to left center. Talk about 450 feet. 2-0 Marlins.
Ozzie Guillen was asked about if Stanton couldn't make the All-Star team, who would you recommend from your ball club? And he said Ruggiano. He's been our hottest hitter. He's given us a big jump. That ball down and in, but there's an old theory of just right-handed batter dropping the bat head and just hitting that ball. It's just, and just driving that ball, just exploding on it. And there was an example of it.
Some of our bleacher fans weren't playing deep enough.
No. It was, 5 or 6 rows beyond the bullpen and a little bit towards center field. The 11th home run that Kyle has surrendered, but I think he's really cut that down of late also.
Not nearly as far as we thought, just 445 feet.
Looks like it was a 2-seam fastball that stayed up just a little bit, but like I said, it was down and in. Talk about another part of the good part of the bat. Times have changed, but that was an area that, in my era, we really tried to stay away from down and in, particularly to a left-hander, but even right-handers where they could drop that bat head.
Classic places are up and in, down and away.
Right, up and in, down and away. Particularly to, in this case, to Brett Hayes, a right-handed batter, and even as great as Bob Gibson was. The only time he pitched inside was inside to effect to get you off the plate so he could get you out of the way. And particularly, late in the ball game, I know Bob watches a lot of the telecasts, and we've talked about it, where he cringes a lot of time when he sees an inside call on a 3-0, 3-1 where you have to throw a strike, where a home run will beat you.
Base hit to left for Hayes. Third hit of the inning for Miami. That brings in Carlos Zambrano, and you have to be careful with his bat. Here's this location.
And you see, it's just in the middle of the plate. The changeup, but didn't fool Mr. Hayes. Watch out for Zambrano, as he can go deep.
Done it 24 times in his career.
Lifetime .238 hitter with 24 home runs, 71 RBIs. Has one of those this season.
Not exactly Babe Ruth, but when you start thinking about pitchers who could hit, he has to be up there top 5, top 10, maybe all time. Would you think, with all those home runs?
Yeah, I would say that, but then I think Gibson had 24 regular season home runs. And you always got to watch for the backswing. Tony Cruz gets whacked on the forearm. You know, we mentioned the last couple of days, Donnie Robinson,
right.
You know, Larry Christensen, Bob Forsch was a good hitting pitcher. I'm not sure, but somewhere I may want to think Warren Spahn may be way up there above those guys.
Well, we'll call him one of the all-time best switch hitting pitchers at the plate.
Yeah.
Not too many of those.
So for 11 right-handed, but he is a switch hitter.
Like our good friend Joaquin Andujar. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. A couple strikeouts in the inning. But the Marlins with 3 hits, including this long home run by Justin Ruggiano. Field, just head to StubHub, where it's easy to find the seats you want to see the Cardinals in action all season long. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. Alan Craig leads it off for St. Louis. 44 RBIs in 44 games for Craig. 27-year-old first baseman. Has 13 home runs. The Cardinals not able to come up with the power hit yesterday, and we'll see if they can do some more offensive damage today as they trail early 2-0.
On July the 2nd, Major League Baseball overturned the error and awarded Alan Craig with a hit, tacking 4 earned runs on the Zambrano's line. So instead of the 5 unearned runs that he allowed in the first inning, Alan Craig was awarded an RBI single, and that turned 4 of those 5 into earned runs.
As I recall that hit, it should have been.
It should have been, yeah. It was a bullet.
Also a comedy of errors for the Marlins beyond that at second base. They couldn't get the double play down, and Zambrano was one of the culprits. He made an error himself in that.
Sure. Remember it was a double play ball, and he threw right over the bag, and
nobody was home.
Nobody was home.
2-0. 3-0.
So why does the error go to Zambrano? Right over the bag. It was a little wide, and Fonte caught that. But remember, that was the second one in the series.
It was. Thought Ozzie Guillen was going to blow a gasket, which he eventually did later.
Yes, which we were shocked. It was his first ejection of the year.
Get along very well with Ozzie, former teammate. He is a flamboyant player and is the same way as a manager. Just catches the corner, but certainly brings energy to the ballpark. You got to give him that.
Either going to love playing for him or hate playing for him.
I agree. Hard hit to left. Alan Craig gets a 3-2 pitch. He's headed to second. Could be a play there. Craig is safe. Leadoff double. 8th hit of the homestand for Alan Craig. He has 4 home runs here on this homestand, and here's another look at the throw.
Just a little bit to the outfield side, so he's able to slide towards the infield side. Goes right on the bag, and Alan Craig may be trotting back to the dugout.
Morrison has 4 outfield assists in left. Stanton has 5 in right. Stanton clearly the better arm. Strike to David Freese. He doesn't believe it. Up to 291.
That looked like a good strike, and a day like this, swing. Of course, we just did tell you not to swing at borderline pitches, hoping that we could take advantage of his wildness in his last 5 starts, 22 innings, 22 walks.
It's just how you define borderline. It's off the plate. Don't get yourself out is the point. And I think that's good advice.
You know, David talked about his couple errors in last night's game, but he did have 3 hits and an RBI, and it was his second 3-hit game of the week. And you mentioned that he, in the clubhouse, that he answered all reporters, and you know, sometimes a player feels responsible for a game, and the last thing you want to do is answer every question. That's not an obligation that you have to do. And David is a stand-up guy, and that was just one of the rare times that, and who's to say that he didn't have some commitment,
pressing
he had something, you know, right, that he needed to get to, and maybe the reporters were talking to other people after the game. So,
and that ball hits David Freese, and that is the 7th hit by pitch for Zambrano. He's up among the league leaders in that category. Tune in before tomorrow's Cardinals game for Toyota's Cardinals Live. We'll have the Sunday 7s counting down anything and everything Cardinals. Toyota Cardinals Live tomorrow at 12:30, followed by the Cardinals Marlins at 1 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Ricky, one of the crazy little stats I always like to look at, and probably the only one that does, but I always try to see the ratio between home runs allowed and hit batters. And Zambrano has allowed 8 home runs and hit 7 batters. I think sometimes there's a correlation.
You probably worked on having a good correlation with those numbers yourself, didn't you?
I tried my best.
I'm getting your drift.
You don't want to have hitters comfortable in the batter's box. Now, as a reliever coming in with men on base, it wasn't the most opportune time to hit someone, but it was better than leaving a ball out over the middle of the plate and giving up a multiple home run.
1-1 to Schumacher. Skip has hit Zambrano well, .333 in his career. And how do you explain the comfort level of Skip Schumacher facing Zambrano?
I think it's just that Skip's kind of fearless. I think he just goes out there, doesn't try and do too much. Try and hit the ball where it's pitched. Maybe sometimes Carlos Zambrano says, well, it's a little guy here. I'm just going to throw the ball there, see when he can do it. And, other times just, are you giving up hits with nobody on base, or are you giving up hits with runners in scoring position?
2 runners aboard for the Cardinals. Ground ball to the left side. Zambrano bare hands it. His throw in time. Athletic play for Zambrano to get Schumacher. Both runners advance.
Similar play last night did in Jake Westbrook.
Good point. Almost
Jake,
exactly the same play.
Yeah, and Jake said, hey, I knew it was going to take a very athletic play. He had Reyes running, but he didn't have time to plant. Just had to throw like Carlos does, off balance. Carlos throws a strike. Jake did not. But Jake also said, I made that play in the past, and I'm not going to really second guess it. I just didn't execute.
RBI situation for Tony Cruz, 25-year-old catcher. His first major league home run in South Florida, where he was born, against the Marlins.
A lot of family and friends there, and with these games being televised back to South Florida, he wants to play every day.
You bet. And in case you missed it yesterday, Yadier Molina has been put on the bereavement list. Death in his wife's family, and so he has gone back to Puerto Rico, and he's going to miss the All-Star game, and that led to Matt Holliday being selected in his place. So we're thinking about Yachty, and we congratulate Matt.
Only the 14th start for Tony Cruz behind the plate. But last season when we saw him in 38 games, a lot of times it was moving around, different play. Pretty good little pinch hitter.
And we have commented, we've noticed his catcher's ERA is good too. Now you can't say the same thing for the backup catcher for the Marlins. His catcher's ERA is over a run worse than the starter. So maybe a drop off with Hayes behind the plate here this afternoon.
I hope.
Ground ball to the right side, and Lee's going to come home with it, and he has Craig hung up. Carlos Lee makes the right play.
In fact, Carlos Lee played a pretty good defense yesterday. He's got to be totally energized coming to the Marlins after babysitting in Houston. But going on contact, takes his time, fires home. David Freese goes right to third. Alan Craig, the only thing he could have done is stay in the rundown long enough for Tony Cruz to try and get to second.
Cardinals don't really lose a lot in that transition there. They just now have runners at first and third instead for Kyle Loesch. And I guess imagine that Alan Craig was going on contact.
That's what it looked like. Kyle Loesch looking for his first RBI of the season. Perfect time to get one.
Slider hangs up a bit and misses the inner half. 1-1 to Loesch. Zambrano closing in on 40 pitches already. Ball foul. Loesch just trying to put that ball into play somehow, and as a pitcher that's really what his job is. Just, hey, hit it. Who knows, maybe you'll find a hole. Don't need a big swing here.
Jake Westbrook kind of questioning maybe he shouldn't have swung last night.
Good point.
He hit into a double play with runners at first and third. You're a competitor, you're an athlete. Pretty hard to go up there and ask yourself not to do something which is natural if you're standing at the plate with a bat, is to swing. Kyle is a very good athlete.
And as you think about pitchers that we see, and we make kind of light of their batting average, etc., but whether you're Jake Westbrook, Kyle Loesch, Adam Wainwright, you know, every one of them were probably the best hitter in their league, maybe all state as hitters. But it's different to be hitting at this level and to continue to work at it and become an elite hitter. And there's Adam doing his thing.
Now that may look kind of silly, what the guys are doing in the dugout, but boy, that builds camaraderie. That's just kind of having fun, being in the middle of it.
Now the shaking of the hat used to be what you do with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, as I recall. So maybe that's what they're doing. They shake the hat.
So you got to remember, you spent a lot more time in the dugout than I did.
I did. You bet I did. There was a reason for that too, Al. Safer there. Loesch strikes out. First strikeout for Zambrano. Cardinals trail by 2 through 2. Brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT U-verse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. MyKiaSt.Louis.com. And get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. 2-0 Miami, top of the 3rd inning. Busch Stadium. Temperatures at game time 106 degrees. All the ice cream, snow cones, soda. 120 degrees in the dugout. Not getting any cooler yet. Reyes, Ramirez, and Lee for Miami here in the 3rd. 2-run home run by Justin Ruggiano, the difference so far. Ground ball, foul. Nice play by Craig, just in case. Can't assume it's foul.
I was going to say, that's exactly right. You field that ball and then even step on the bag and turn around and find out. But you could hear Phil Cuzzy's call that it was a foul ball.
Hard enough to play. You don't want to play and umpire.
Right.
The 2-2 to Reyes. Greg has it right in front of Phil Cuzzy.
Just odd to see Reyes batting 275, 268, and now Ramirez at 252.
This team misses Emilio Bonifacio as well. He was providing some more speed at the top of their lineup. In fact, he was 20 for 21 and stolen bases.
Where do you play him?
Well, they'd find a place, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. Reggiano's playing. I don't know.
Well, good point. Ramirez bounces out. For call, we mentioned at the top of the telecast, back in the lineup today, we weren't sure what was going on with him last night in the 9th inning, and found out that he has had an issue with his shin.
Yeah, it's been a reoccurring problem and everything, and it probably appeared that once he slowed down and pulled up at first base is that it kind of grabbed him. But I really thought in a sense that Mike Matheny was just saying, hey, let's get you off that leg. Let's just take a little pressure off of it. But let's put in Tyler Green, who is by far a better, more speed. And we'll put him there, and so I can get you a little attention for your leg, and I'll give you a faster runner at first base. So I really wasn't thinking it was anything long term.
And so not really a new injury either, just really a status update to say, look, how good is it, because we've got Tyler Green available, and Tyler Green really the fastest Cardinal anyway. So
that's right.
Still the right move.
Two outs here. Going to pitch very carefully to Carlos Lee.
Two-out walk. And I do mean walk. I haven't seen Derek Lilliquist out very often to talk to Kyle Loesch, because Loesch has been so good and worked so quickly.
And they're going to pinch hit Cousins for Stanton. So maybe that right knee still barking a little bit.
Very interesting. So Giancarlo Stanton started this game. He singled in the 2nd inning. We saw him run down a ball in the right center field gap. That was in the Cardinals' first, and he is a no-go here in the 3rd.
Yeah, he trotted around the bases as he came home on the home run, but maybe it was the fact of having to run hard into the gap, flag down that fly ball, that re-aggravated his knee.
I'm going to bet you $1 that Carlos Lee doesn't try to steal second. You want to take that? I know there's no betting in baseball.
Betting in baseball.
I know that.
I think that's a little too safe unless you give me extremely
good odds.
About 10 million to 1. I'll take it. You got 10 million in your pocket, don't you?
Let me look.
I know you modern day ball players, that's ashtray money to you. Remember when Jim Fregosi managed in Philadelphia, he had Dalton and Dykstra and all those guys. And he one time said something about ashtray money. So I said, what's that? And he goes, oh, that's, like what, $10,000 they put in their ashtray in their car.
Oh. I'm still trying to figure out how I became a modern day ball player.
Well, Ricky, by comparison to the old man.
Okay.
I'm going to beat you guys with a punchline.
2-2 to Scott Cousins. Very interesting development here in the 3rd. Stanton out of this game, and you wonder about his prospects of being able to play in the All-Star game. He's the lone representative for the Marlins, which is also an issue. Got to be represented, and again, we don't want to push that too far yet, but the fact that he's come out of this game early is not a good sign for him.
No, because I think that they were trying to show Major League Baseball that, yeah, see, he's still healthy, and by playing today and tomorrow, I think you could sell that, but having to come out in the third inning makes that all in jeopardy.
Bet you $1 he runs now. 3-2, 2 out. There goes Lee, and a strikeout at the plate.
You call that running?
Well, I guess I lose. Kyle Loesch, good inning. Pitches around a 2-out walk. Cardinals with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv and do it today. You can see every Cardinals out-of-market game live, online, and on your favorite connected devices in HD quality. Visit Cardinals.com to get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
Cardinals have really stumbled against the National League East, 6-13 record, and 3 of those 6 wins have come against Miami.
3-2 on the season. The Cardinals 4 games over 500. Hoping to finish out this last weekend before the All-Star break in good fashion.
Ricky, you think St. Louis would ever be envious of Pittsburgh? See if you can think along with me. If you look at the scoreboard, the out-of-town scoreboards,
yes.
I see where they may be envious of Pittsburgh.
I'm with you. I 100% agree with you because it's raining there. In fact, it looks like there's a little lightning there and a dark cloud, and kind of looks like sleet.
I feel cooler already.
Furcal strikes out, does not strike out very often. Neither does John Jay. He takes strike 1 from Zambrano. Zambrano getting sharper.
Jerry Davis back there, and at a pitcher strike zone, but it's been very consistent and have no problems with that. Time we show Fox tracks, or if we don't show Fox tracks, you know, his calls are right on the money. And on a day like this, you just wonder why most umpires don't expand it a little bit. Just tell the hitters, hey, come up here swinging. It's hot.
I don't think anybody would blame him.
No. And the game can still have just as much offense. Probably have fewer walks, but a lot more hits.
Zambrano has it. Gets rid of it. That wasn't pretty. But he gets John Jay. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Carlos Zambrano and Kyle Loesch hooked up. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. Early 2-0 Miami lead.
You changed your name. It was Rick Raboski and Al Raboski.
I did not notice that.
Boy, we are getting closer.
Wow. Wow.
I guess that tells you the truck, their 45-degree temperature in the truck is really getting going to their heads. 106 out here, and they'll be talking about the sweaters. Anybody got an extra sweater we can wear? They've got it really tough. And then they put my name on your.
I think they're trying to get at one of us. What do you think? What do you think? Trying to mess with us?
That is an old trick. They put the commentator sign up there when they want to make fun of something we said, but
it happens.
I think we'd be up there 24/7.
Zambrano at 93. I think there was a time where we would have seen him at 95, 96, so he's lost a bit, but still throws hard.
And I think it was consistently 94, 95. And now I think he humps up, with more pitching right around 90 to 92. Occasionally he'll muscle up. A lot of times you muscle up like that, the ball straightens out.
This is with a high breaking ball, and that is the first walk of the afternoon for Zambrano. He has hit a batter, and he's allowed 2 Cardinal hits. John Jay and Alan Craig. There's the pitch speed range for Zambrano. High of 93, low of 69. Wish we were talking about the temperature. Beltran, first ball hitting, bounces out. We're through 3.
Your neighborhood Schnucks. They make their sausage right there in the store using only fresh meat that's cut, ground, and seasoned by the in-store butchers. A lot of stores get sausage that's packaged, frozen, and shipped to them. But Schnucks sausage is always fresh, never frozen. That's the Schnucks difference. That looks good. Perfect for barbecue weather. And now, Ricky, you explain what that is.
Kind of looks like the Princess Leia look out in the bullpen. I guess that's a way to keep cool on some planet. Very creative.
Cardinals have a big fan at the end of their dugout with a misting machine. Goes on a lot of cold air.
I'm betting that Adam Wainwright was that kid in class in like 4th grade that was always in the back talking and throwing spitballs and hitting guys with rubber bands and making jokes, getting notes sent home to his mom, who, by the way, is a wonderful lady. Had a chance to meet her in the offseason, but I'm sure she had her moments with Adam. And I'm guessing Tony La Russa did too. And now Mike Matheny. But it's good to have him around, keeping things loose.
Fine line, isn't it?
It is. Logan Morrison, 24-year-old left fielder. Hit his 11th home run last night. In fact, Eduardo Perez telling me before the game that he's really been pushing him to see himself as a power hitter. He likes to think of himself as a singles hitter. And Perez is doing everything he can to tell him, you need to drive the ball. We need you to drive the ball, and you can.
I know what John Mabry and McGuire got Matt Carpenter.
Right.
Start changing his approach a little bit. Drive the ball.
Very unusual idea for Perez is he's made him play home run derby during batting practice. He wants him to see how far he can hit it, just so he can start thinking about driving the ball instead of just flaring it the other way.
And boy, that is a change.
Totally. And you wouldn't do that with everybody.
No. I used to never tell a guy to try and hit home runs.
Our carsoup.com email the booth question comes from Kathy in O'Fallon, Missouri. What's the hottest stadium you remember having to play in?
Well, Busch Stadium was, playing on the turf. It would reach 140 degrees every day game in the middle of the summer. But in my mind, in a lot of ways, I always thought Cincinnati, because it was a much lower bowl, and playing on the turf there, I just thought it just held in the heat. Unless, at least at Old Busch Stadium, you had out in center field, you had some breezeways that would come through. So, and I remember hearing Mike Matheny say the other day that he felt the hottest stadium he ever played in was a day in Wrigley Field.
1-2 pitch is fouled off. Must not have been windy that day.
No, and I can remember some warm days there, but I never really felt anything was that stifling. But remember, he's got the catching gear on, and there were the times at Busch Stadium where you just had the infield turf with just the sliding pits. So even your infielders were not on dirt. They were out there on the turf too. And remember, before you started having these modern shoes and the plastic spikes, used to be out there on the Rawlings had a very, very durable shoe that was very heavy and thick soles with the steel spikes.
Fly ball, right field. Beltran retires Ruggiano.
And boy, those steel spikes, it would just feel like they were coming right up through the bottom of your feet.
Hottest day I can remember was in Houston. The good thing was it was a dome, but outside the ballpark, it was awful. And I'd gone out to go for a run around the parking lot in the Astrodome, and 20 minutes later I was delirious and trying to find my way back in.
They used to, the Astros pitchers playing that dome, they would have to run outside to get ready for a road trip.
Nice play by David Freese. 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Lohse. 16 and younger entering with a ticket will receive a Cardinals t-shirt, compliments of Ice Mountain. In fact, I'm going to say Ice Mountain again because it feels good. Great new t-shirt. Wear it to Cardinal games all season long. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com. 2-0 Miami. 2-3-0 for the Marlins. 0-2-0 for St. Louis. Alan Craig, leadoff double in the second inning. The Cardinals were not able to score him. 4 home runs on this homestand. The Cardinals are 4-4 on this homestand. 2.5 games behind the league-leading Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's early.
It is early.
It's good for baseball to see that the Pirates are playing well. And noted the other day, I saw
flare to right. Might have broke his bat.
Saw some highlights of a Pittsburgh game, and it was packed stands, so that's always good to see. And the inside-out stroke, broke his bat and everything. Hand stayed inside the ball and just flares it out to right field for his second hit.
David Freese was hit by a pitch in the second. 3 for 4 here last night. Hole on the right side. David likes to hit the ball that way, and he takes a strike on the outside corner at 90 miles an hour from Carlos Zambrano.
David's average up to 291.
Loves to let the ball get deep into the zone, doesn't
he? He does, but you know, we're really not seeing him hit the ball to the right field, the opposite field as much right now. And we know he's capable. That's his natural stroke out there. But if they keep on pounding you in, you make an adjustment, you turn on that ball, and you hit it to left and left center. Eventually they'll start going back out there, and as you said, that ability to let the ball go deep in on you, and so when you do swing at it, then you'll drive it to the opposite field. Get 2 strikes, he's still swinging a lot of breaking balls off the plate.
Alan Craig, the runner at first. Cardinals trailing in the 4th. Full count. Would you send Alan Craig?
He strikes out an awful lot. You know, if you don't connect, you're dead.
Kind of a double-edged sword there. David also hits into a lot of double plays, so you're trying to figure out which way to go with Freese.
Talked about how he throws so many pitches out of the strike zone, or has in his previous 5, walking a batter per inning. When you do that, you don't want to send a runner. This might be forcing him to swing on ball 4. A lot of things to consider, and sometimes you just say, I'll play a hunch. An educated guess, though.
What will Mike Matheny do here? Another full count. Not going. Off-speed pitch. Floats in high. So both Freese and Craig aboard, just as they were in the second inning. Cardinals were not able to score them then. We'll see what Skip Schumacher can do here, and if the Cardinals can get on the board. Cardinals had 12 hits here last night, but were not able to put them together. They only came up with 2 runs, and one of them was in the 9th.
Well, they had 12 hits, were hit by 2 pitches. They, you know, the run that they scored in early in the ball game was helped out by an error. So they were 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Left 11 runners on, and when you commit 3 errors on top of it, that's really hard to win. And yet, one key hit in a spot like this would have changed the outcome.
Ground ball left side, base hit, Schumacher. Alan Craig rounds third. He's headed home. The Cardinals get on the board. 2-1 Miami.
Jose Oquendo is aggressive as they come as he tests Logan Morrison on a ball that's hard hit, not very deep. And Alan Craig not running at 100%. So Skip Schumacher has had hits, good success against Zambrano. We said he hits the ball where it's pitched, out away from him, just slices it into left field. And Oquendo, with nobody out, sends him home. And you can see the throw just a little offline.
Ball 1 to Tony Cruz.
But you know, give Oquendo's credit. He knows you're coming up to the 8th and 9th spot right here. You haven't been getting timely hitting, so you press the issue, and more times than not, you'll be safe.
Zambrano in trouble here in the Cardinals' 4th. There's a line drive, base hit to right, towards the corner. David Freese will score, and the ball gets away from Ruggiano. Schumacher scores, Cruz to third, and the Cardinals take the lead.
Slicing that inside out, right down in the right field corner. Comes right down, right at the point where it comes out there, gets underneath. There's a little trough underneath the padding, and it just hugs that and gets right by Ruggiano. It's I think they originally scored a single and 2 RBIs. They do not have an error on the board. And you scored a single without. How does he get to third? Look at the replay. They may change it and just go a straight triple.
I believe that is the scoring. Triple for Cruz. Cardinals jumping on Zambrano here in the 4th inning.
All three of his RBIs have come against Miami.
Ground ball to the right side, and it's past Zambrano, but Cruz did not decide to come home. He had to wait to see if that ball was handled by Zambrano, so Kyle Loesch bounces out. And a safe play, and I would say a smart play by Tony Cruz.
I mean, there's nobody out there that's really, you know, either you're going on contact where you just run when contact's made, but that wasn't smart. And from his angle, he can't tell if that ball is right back to the pitcher or to his right or left. And I think even if it got by Zambrano, the second baseman throws him out at the plate. So have no problem with that.
Infield still in for call. Back to the box. It hits Zambrano. He's going to come home with it. And he throws out Tony Cruz. So for a second time, the Cardinals have a runner thrown out at home by an infielder. This time it's Carlos Zambrano making the play.
Zambrano knocked it down and recovers, throws home. Had enough time for Brett Hayes to prepare for a minor collision. Which once again, I think, was part of the decision making by Oquendo to challenge the throwing arm of Morrison and send Craig home with knowing that 8 and 9 were coming up. So Hayes got time here. Catcher against catcher.
John Jay bats now with Furcal at first base, reaching on that fielder's choice. Bunt attempt fouled at the plate. Talked to Mike Aldretti quite extensively early in this homestand about the number of players that will bunt with 2 outs. That used to be Cardinal sin. The idea was hit a double, hit a home run, drive them in yourself. But he mentioned that more teams are teaching, if you believe you can do it. Now, he doesn't agree every time it happens, but he believes that there are more cases where you've got a power hitter up next, in this case Matt Holliday, that more teams are okay with somebody bunting in this situation. Ball gets away from Lee. Now Furcal's in scoring position.
Second error by Zambrano on the season. The 8 total by the Marlins this year. Low throw gets by Carlos Lee. Good pitch.
Jay tied up on that slider. So officially a triple for Tony Cruz. His first career triple comes against the Marlins and Carlos Zambrano. His first career home run was against Anibal Sanchez. The 2-2. Fouled off.
John Jay, University of Miami product. Lives in South Beach area. He wants to do something big to show his friends back home.
Good swing there. A couple of good rips.
Zambrano's pitch count up to 81.
Loesch, by contrast, at 61. Hard hit to center field. Cousins in his tracks retires John Jay. Good inning for St. Louis. They pick up 3 hits and 3 runs and lead 3-2. On the temperatures throughout baseball.
Well, the Cardinals win again. 106 here in St. Louis. Kansas City just 91. 94 in New York. 101 in the nation's capital. Not too sure that's where I'd place Kansas City in St. Louis. Top of Casey on top of the Cardinals. Sounds like a Mike Helling move right there. By the way, Mike Helling, happy birthday yesterday.
Does a wonderful job producing Cardinal baseball.
When he's not rooting for the Cardinals, he's a big Kansas City Royals fan.
You can be bold. Ball one to Brett Hayes. Singled in the second inning. Fourth year as a Marlin. Backup catcher. Handling Zambrano here this afternoon. Kyle Loesch, you mentioned earlier, 5 straight starts with 7 or more innings. Tough play for Furcal. He's got it. Throws on the run. He's got it. Rafael Furcal.
Outstanding
showing
play.
His athleticism.
Yeah, well, we know he's such a good, gifted athlete. And tough part, look, he has to reach there on the dead run. That's not easy. Catch one on your shoe tops. Then you have to pull your upper body up. Here's the catch. Pull your upper body up, and then as you're still running towards the right field corner, you have to kind of turn your body and position to throw over to first base. Takes a lot of arm strength to do that, and he still has one of the best arms.
Hard hit to center. John Jay turns one way, then another. Then makes the play.
Mentioned Zambrano, since 1974, leads all pitchers with 24 home runs. And it was interesting about who is the all-time leader in home runs. 2 pretty good ones. A couple Hall of Famers. Wes Farrell has 38 to lead the all-time. And I mentioned Spahn. Knew he was a good hitting pitcher. One of my managers. He hit 35.
So a ways to go for Zambrano, who has 24. Gave that one a ride. Quick outs for Loesch, and strike one to Reyes. Ground ball. And a play at first, and not in time.
Whoa.
Alan Craig battled that ground ball on the backhand. Off balance throw. Mike Matheny thinks maybe the Cardinals got the raw end of the stick there. He's going to go out and talk to Phil Cuzzy.
I think the only thing that Cuzzy could say is that Loesch's foot came off the bag, but from the naked eye, it sure looked like he stayed on the bag and looked like he got there. A really hard hit ball. He scrambles after it. There's Loesch right there, and he's clearly out, and he's on the bag. The only thing you could say he wasn't on the bag, and I think that the replay shows he is. And didn't you think too, Ricky? That
yeah. Well, the foot's on the bag.
Yeah,
does the throw beat him or not? Very close.
Or he could say that he didn't have control of it. He was juggling it, but that didn't even appear to be the way. It shows you the athleticism of Kyle Loesch to receive that. You're running full speed to that bag, and then you get a throw wide and on the ground.
Speed on the bases now in Jose Reyes. Another strike one from Loesch. This time it's to Hanley Ramirez, who's 0 for 2. So an error on Alan Craig. That's his 3rd error of the season. Each team with an error now. Cardinals made 3 last night, and it was their undoing.
With 2 outs and Reyes out at first base. As you mentioned, he's got 20 steals, so a threat to run. But Kyle Loesch needs to just buckle down and make sure that error doesn't come back to hurt him. Does make him throw. And we'll find out how many additional pitchers, though. Hot day, you don't want that to happen.
Loesch checks on Reyes. For those just joining us, Mike Stanton started this game in right field for Florida. Had a base hit, scored a run in the second, and then was removed from the game in the third. Still waiting on a report on him, and he has picked off Reyes. Reyes was going. Loesch knew it. The jump just a bit too quick for Reyes. Matt Holliday when we come back. Fest through July 10th at Kansas City Convention Center, Bartle Hall. Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest is an interactive baseball theme park and the largest baseball fan event in the world. You can get free autographs from MLB legends and members of the Hall of Fame and much more. Guaranteed your preferred date and time slot. Buy your tickets now at allstargame.com. All attractions are included with the price of admission. 3-2 Cardinals.
And let's hope everybody that goes over there also will go over to the Negro League Museum. I know Bud Selig, Commissioner of Baseball, is going to pay a visit on Monday. That'll be the first time he's ever gone there, and it's hard to believe too, isn't it?
You saw the look on my face.
Yeah.
Line drive to right, base hit. Holliday using all fields. Marlins and the Cardinals squaring off here this afternoon at Busch Stadium. Both clubs have been one of the 5 teams that have been World Series winners after being a wild card. The Marlins did it in '97 and then again in 2003, and of course the Cardinals last year.
And Ricky, we looked up, and recently they've had some winning seasons, but it was the beginning of their franchise. They have never won a division, but they've won 2 world championships. And when they won those 2 world championships, those were the only times they had a record over 500. The last few years, they've had some records over 500, but still have never won a division.
So it's happened 5 times, and this year, the wild card is expanded. So perhaps more of an opportunity for teams to be hot. And you know what we've seen in all those cases, it's been a team that just all of a sudden caught fire and everything started working. You had the 2 or 3 pitchers that were red hot, the bullpen that was on fire, and really you throw all that together and a wild card can do it.
Yeah, but it's going to be a little tougher now with the 2 wild cards because they'll have to match up. So one of those hot teams is going to get eliminated.
Busch Stadium in St. Louis, 3-2 Cardinals. A warm afternoon. I'm Rick Horton. And the gentleman next to me is Al Raboski. We got that straight.
I lost my twin, huh?
You sure did. Tony Cruz, a 2-run triple. Big part of the Cardinal 3-run 4th inning. Carlos Zambrano has worked 4 innings and given up 3 Cardinal runs.
And it seemed wonderful to be mean, menacing, and mad for those
2 innings, yeah. Felt like a different person.
I bet you did. Wade LeBlanc, a lefty, warming up. Zambrano trying to impersonate Loesch.
Loesch picked off Jose Reyes to end the top of the 5th. Holiday will steal a base now and then, but a lot of times he does that on the back end of a double steal. He's 4 for 6 in stolen bases. Alan Craig 2 for 2. Beltran, Furcal, and Holiday have all had trouble against Zambrano. Base hit to right. This could be 2, and it will be. Craig heads to second, Holiday to third. 2 doubles and a base hit for Alan Craig.
I'm seeing the home runs that we saw early in this homestand from Alan Craig, but just as productive with the base hits. And a great scoring opportunity for the Cardinals and David Freese. Inside out stroke, just slicing it into the right field corner.
Such a good look on our Foxmo at how deep that ball got into the zone.
Yeah.
You could see Brett Hayes almost ready to catch that ball, and then Craig whipping the bat through and flaring it to right. David Freese with an opportunity.
Ricky, that happens in such a split second where, like you say, it looks like the catcher's going to reach out there, but part of the art of catching is having very quiet hands and just holding that glove still and let the ball come to you. Reach out there, and then the batter swings and hits that glove, and I'm sure at times it's very tempting, but it happens at such a quick speed. Probably you don't have that react and reach out there as much as you ever think.
Fredbird cooling folks off.
Well, yeah, he's got a fan, so why is he complaining?
He looks a little delirious there, doesn't he?
That may not be an act. All those fans are sitting there in their cool, comfortable clothing, and Fredbird, I know it's all natural. It's all natural. There's nothing fake about Fredbird, but
Freese is hit again for the second time. That will load the bases. Fans don't like Carlos Zambrano hitting their all-star David Freese, even if it is a breaking ball.
Zambrano's got a 7-game winning streak against the Cardinals here in St. Louis, and that's in jeopardy. Schumacher 1 for 2, and mentioned he's in the lineup because of his success against Zambrano. Hopefully he can do something here.
So Zambrano's doing a good job on that ratio you were talking about.
Right.
He's now hit 8 batters.
8 and 8.
You're talking about hit by pitch and home runs. But he trails in this one 3-2. Schumacher a chance to break it open here.
One of the art of pitching is to make hitters very uncomfortable in that batter's box.
Fly ball to left. It's shallow. Morrison is shallow. And not going is Matt A lot of movement going on a potential throw to the plate. Everybody's got a place to go.
You see Morrison trying to get into throwing angle. His shortstop's coming over to be at the bag. The third baseman goes in as the cutoff man. Zambrano will be behind the catcher for an overthrow. A lot of movement, and it's just all instinctual. Just do it.
Missed opportunity there for Schumacher.
Yeah. After last night's game, you don't want to talk about that. They were 2 for 16 and runners in scoring position. And Ricky, I think it's something like 7 for 45 on the last 5 games. It's about a 150 average with runners in scoring position. Tony Cruz isn't going to let that happen, but now it takes 2 out something. Hopefully a 2 out. No, he didn't have a grand slam.
Might as well do that against the Marlins too. Popped up. Lee towards the Cardinal dugout. Just out of reach.
Didn't look like any of the Cardinals were willing to help the Caballo. And the rail did hold.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good breaker there from Zambrano.
Oh, that wasn't a pony coming over there. It's more like a Clydesdale coming.
You bet it
to
was.
The Cardinal dugout.
And a Clydesdale that can hit.
He's a run producer.
The defense behind Zambrano.
Big gap out in left center. Big one down the left field line also.
Fastball on the outside corner. Good pitch from Z. Strikeout number 4. Cardinals strand 3 in the 5th. Free frozen treats and win fun prizes in the Ford Plaza courtesy of North Star. For ticket information, visit Cardinals.com. Everybody trying to stay cool here in St. Louis and throughout the Midwest. Cardinals trying to keep their lead. 3-2 is the score. Kyle Loesch is the starter. 8-2 on the season. Been very consistent all year long. Cardinals and Marlins will battle again tomorrow. Final game before the All-Star break. Don't forget to watch the All-Star game on Fox from Kansas City on July 10th. Tomorrow the starters will be Anibal Sanchez and Joe Kelly, the rookie. I look forward to watching him pitch every time, Joe Kelly. Schumacher has it. Our friends at Budweiser want me to talk some more about tomorrow's game. What's on tap? Cardinals and the Marlins, final game of the series. Sanchez Kelly. Coverage begins at 12:30 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Ricky, on the post-game show after Kelly's last start, I can't remember he was 4th or 5th, but he was in the top 5 and National League starters in velocity, average velocity.
Where did that come from?
I mean, but we've seen him, light up the radar gun at 96 miles an hour, but it was just under average pitch, under 94. You've got to be careful with Carlos Lee. He's hit 5 home runs off of Loesch, and Loesch is very happy that Berkman and Beltran are his teammates because they were right behind Carlos Lee with 4 each.
Carlos Lee strikes out 1 out of every 15.8 times. He leads the National League. Vertal has it. 2 pop-ups to start the 6th. Loesch has been very good since the 2nd.
It's the 2nd inning, then 3rd. You'd like to be under 15 pitches per inning. And you'd like to get through this 6th inning with 1 more would be 78.
Facing Scott Cousins. Came into the game to play center field. Hit for Giancarlo Stanton, and the report we just got on Stanton, right knee discomfort, the reason why he's not in this game.
I've seen that LeBlanc has continued to warm, so you would suspect that Zambrano may be through.
The lowest earned run average in all of baseball since the 1st of June, and there's a familiar face on that list.
Yeah, Kyle Loesch, 280 on the season, but June the 1st, 191. And the funny thing was, we were looking at R.A. Dickey. That was in the 1.6s, and he's been roughed up the last couple starts.
That's how good he was.
That's how good he was.
The ones before. And Loesch really was good in the month of April, 4-0 in April. His May, he struggled a bit, but then once the calendar hit June again, he just got right back on track.
Well, Ricky's been kind of strange because all the Cardinal starters except for Adam Wainwright had great Aprils. Then everybody except Adam Wainwright had a bad May. I guess you can say that Lynn was also in that good side.
Right.
But and Lynn struggled a little bit late in June. Hopefully he's turned it around now. And all the starters have kind of really started pitching very well again in June. And hopefully it'll carry over through July, August, September, October.
Fly ball down the left field line, and it's foul. And that shows the job of a pitching coach. It's almost like tinkering with your car. One thing's not working, everything else is. Then you go fix the other thing, and you're always trying to kind of work on a lot of different parts at the same time, and you hope that you get a nice, well-oiled machine. But at the end of the day,
sometimes you just being a psychologist and say, hey, it's not, things aren't as bad as you think they are. You don't have to change everything. Just one little thing here or there and get you right back on track.
And if you're going well, keep doing what you're doing, keep working.
We've seen guys that things are going so well for them that they want to tinker and they want to change things because, they think, oh, well, it's not good enough. And then they mess it up. May's starting to throw again. That's a good sign, but he's a long way from coming back.
Before it's over, Jaime Garcia could be a very important figure for this 2012 St. Louis Cardinals team.
We hope.
Might be late.
It's going to be August at the earliest.
Right. Watch out. Knocked down by Loesch. Throws out Cousins. Seems to be fine. 1-2-3 inning for Kyle. Home run derby on Monday night, and for every home run that Carlos hits, fans can take $1 off the price of pavilion level tickets for the Cardinals Dodgers series, which will be July 23rd through the 26th. Those tickets are currently at $20, so Beltran hits 20 home runs. How about that? 20 or more home runs. The tickets will be free. For details, you can visit Cardinals.com. Those games, again, the Dodgers and the Cardinals, July 23rd through the 26th. Our Mid-America Chevy dealers call to the bullpen is the lefty Wade LeBlanc.
And LeBlanc was just recalled from New Orleans on July the 1st. He was a starter down for the Zephyrs, 5-5 record, 3.74 ERA and 16 starts.
Not a hard thrower, more of a changeup guy. Spent some time with the Padres.
This is just his 5th career relief appearance.
Loesch strikes out. Time for our AT trivia question. Who is the Cardinals' first player to participate in the home run derby? Beltran will do it this year, but who was first?
And it started in 1985, and it was the Ripper, Jack Clark. That'd be a good one.
I'll say.
Boy, has that contest evolved over the decades.
Sure has. Parts of 3 different seasons with the Padres. LeBlanc, all of his appearances as a starter. 17 and 22 in his career.
Dobbs is taking over in right field.
Good effort by Solano. Solano spent 7 years in the minor leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals. Long way to go. Runs out of room. Kind of was behind a lot of other middle infielders. Never really got a chance at the big league level.
Yeah, you just, I think a couple times maybe in spring training, but
Ozigian likes him. Had a good spring training for the Marlins, batting over 400. 2 outs for John Jay.
Very sunny day, but the veteran not wearing sunglasses, and you see the webbing he has on his first base glove. You learn the technique how you can shade your eyes from the sun and still look up through the H webbing and make the play.
Jay bounces out. 1-2-3 inning for the left-hander LeBlanc. West is brought to you by AT the nation's largest 4G network. AT Rethink Possible. And by Ford, the official vehicles of the Cardinals. (3-2) St. Louis. Nice crowd on hand. Warm afternoon.
Marion Mozzie, 87-year-old, big Cardinal fan from Johnson City, Illinois. She's watching this game, rooting on the Cardinals. She was very concerned about Kyle Loesch taking that line drive off the body to end the last inning, but saw Kyle hit, and now he's back out pitching, so good sign. Another time he's trying to get through 7 innings.
Really credit our Cardinal fans for showing up in droves here over the past couple of weeks. There has been just one bad day after another, and you just think about how important it is to the players to have the support. And not a full house here today, but we've had a number of big crowds, including a sellout here last night. 14th sellout of the season for the Cardinals, and really appreciate the support. Hope you're having a good time hydrating at the ballpark.
Well, it's hard to expect fans to come out in this kind of heat if your seats are in the sun, and that's where the vacated seats are mostly. Cardinals very appreciative of the support they get here, and of course it is always translated where, like at the trade deadline, people come through the turnstiles. It frees up some money for an acquisition. Add payroll, may get you over the hump, and John Mozeliak is going to be looking. He's been looking from day one. And that's day one of 2012. how to improve this ball club. Never-ending search.
One of the things I love about the game of baseball, Al, is it's just this kind of long story that's played out every year, that has twists and turns to it, that is written day by day, and there are big moves and big changes that you don't know are big moves and big changes until you see the end of the story. And John Mozeliak is in charge of doing that right now, thinking about what piece do I throw into this story to make this a successful year.
And Ricky, I think it's a very complicated picture this year when you consider there are some, and I know you and I are both not that worried about the innings total for Lance Lynn.
Right.
But there's some that really feel like when Wainwright or a pitcher coming off Tommy John, they shouldn't, should only be limited to 160, 170 innings.
Right. Physical reasons we agree on.
So
this July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer. Baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. It'll be Tuesday. World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game at 6:30 on Fox.
Browning and Marte warming up behind Kyle Loesch. But you think about those two guys. What do you do with them? Garcia, there's no guarantee that he's coming back. You do know that Carpenter will not return. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons that, yeah, the team's playing hard, is getting himself in a position, but you really don't want to mortgage the farm just thinking that you're going to have all these pitchers intact late in the season.
And so far so good for Joe Kelly, but how much do you want to bet on him for the second half?
Well, I mean that's another area. So I mean
nothing he's
sure.
done has been negative, but
no,
you're talking about a rookie who's unproven. Do you all of a sudden say, okay, he's one of our guys, and we're going to throw him 100 innings in the second half? I think that would be maybe a big jump.
Maybe you get a Kyle McClellan back. Maybe Joe Kelly goes to the bullpen. Maybe a Lance Lynn goes to the bullpen. But I mean, those are all big questions.
Good changeup on the outside corner from Lowe. Strikes out Ruggiano.
Right there, right on the black. That's Kyle Loesch. Even if a hitter swings at that pitch, he's not going to really be able to drive that ball.
Marlins are hitless since the second inning. Strike one to Solano. Surprised to hear about Solano, and we remember him a bit as a Cardinal minor league player, that he and his brother, both major league players, they are the 12th and the 13th player ever from Colombia to play at the major league level. I thought there would have been more.
I think when the problems that they have in Colombia, that a lot of clubs kind of started shying away and really don't want to go into that country that much and look at the talent there because of the drug culture and the political unrest. So maybe that's what slowed down that stream.
Our favorite Colombian player has ties to both of these clubs, Edgar Renteria.
He definitely is. I mean, he started making it so much more popular, but I guess problems there. It's like like Venezuela's got a lot of talent there, but with all the problems they've got in Venezuela, even if they sign a Venezuelan kid, they get him out of that country and send him to, say, like the Dominican academies.
Fly ball to right. Long way to come for Beltran. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Loesch. Matt Holliday will lead it off. Time to stretch. 3-2 is our score. Al Raboski has stretched himself out here, as you're supposed to do. 7th inning stretch, a tradition in baseball for a very, very long time.
Some of us need to get up every so often and stretch out.
Some of us want to invent a 3rd inning stretch and a 5th inning stretch.
That's
and
true.
it's okay to do that.
Some of us are worried about sticking to the chair and
call us overachievers.
All right, what a job by Kyle Loesch. Looks like his day will be through, and he goes 7 innings once again, in line for the victory. Turn it over to Boggs and Mott. But it sure wouldn't hurt to get a couple insurance runs.
So 6 straight starts for Kyle Loesch. That is a career high for him. He's never done that before, where he's gone 7 or more innings, 6 straight starts. That's really what you need out of your starting pitchers. Deep into games, helps the bullpen set up.
It just seems like everything falls in place. If you can go 7 innings, then you're really asking for just 6 outs. You got 7 guys down there to get the 6 outs. Everything falls into place, and the bullpen doesn't get overworked. Blancs just come in here and just throwing strike after strike.
Not overpowering from the left side. Fastball at 87. A little late on that swing. 2 strikeouts for LeBlanc.
Left-handed, and just seems like you have a mastery. You don't have to throw hard. You can change speeds.
Carlos Beltran.
He's from St. Charles, Louisiana, so when he was playing for the AAA New Orleans Zephyrs, he probably said, man, I have to leave home. Have to go to the big leagues.
I somehow think he was happy with that.
I think so.
Were you ever a Zephyr? You played in Denver.
No.
They were the Bears when you played in Denver.
Yeah, that was at the end, and at one time New Orleans was a Cardinal, AAA affiliate. I'd never played there, other than an exhibition game during the season. Cardinals went in to play New Orleans, a AAA affiliate.
Late swing from Beltran. So sneaky quick is Wade LeBlanc. 3 strikeouts.
83. So you wonder, he just great arm action on the changeup. Really not a lot of variance between that and his fastball, but good enough. Sells it with the arm action. Same release point.
Alan Craig having a big afternoon. He's 3 for 3. Doubled in the 3rd, doubled in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and doubled in the 5th.
Right now I want the insurance run, so I want to see him hit his 14th home run.
All right, let's order that up. How's that work?
Yeah, stay that RBI pace ahead of games played. He's got 44 RBIs in 44 games, playing his 45th, so got to do it, Alan.
It'd be helpful if this left-hander would hang something. Look pretty sharp.
Maybe he could do it on here on the 3-2 pitch.
I think he's going to throw a changeup.
I was going to say, I was not going to see a fastball.
There was the changeup, and he strikes out the side. How about that? On to the 8th. (3-2) St. Louis. Let's go to Pat Paris with a Bomberito Sports update. Pat? Thanks, Pat. Appreciate the updates all season long. Our Home Depot doing more on defense is Rafael Furcal. He went a long way to get this ball up the middle. Hayes the batter, and then the runner, and the off-balance throw.
Well, Ralphie's playing very, very well. He sat on 7 errors for quite a while. He's been playing very tight baseball.
Interesting stat there.
To agree, a lot of times that stat, 1-run decisions, is a reflection of your bullpen. But we saw last night it wasn't so much the bullpen as you know, timely hitting by the Cardinals. Chevy called the bullpen, bringing in Boggs.
And interesting, you talked to Mike Matheny about those close games. There have been a number of games, and we could think of 6 off the top of our head where the Cardinals were down a lot, and then they fought back and lost by 1. And,
yeah.
And he is quick to say that that's not your typical 1-run loss. That's just a team battling back and not able to get all the way back.
Mitchell, you see his numbers. He's had 10 straight scoreless appearances.
Scalzo in to play second base for Skip Schumacher.
And it's straight, you know, where Scalzo batting 7th in Schumacher's spot, and Boggs is in the 9th spot.
Let's make sure we get that right. You know, Ozzie Guillen will be watching. Boggs, he strikes out Hayes.
So Mitchell has an outstanding stuff. Look at that slider. You know, when you throw enough strikes in your fastball, then they will swing at that ball that's in the dirt. Remember, Dobbs went in as part of a double switch, so this is Greg's first plate appearance.
Outstanding pinch hitter. Line drive in the gap. This is going to go all the way to the wall. Jay runs it down in the warning track and holds Dobbs to a double. That ball was smoked.
John Jay wasn't going to catch it anyway because, like you said, it's so hard hit and well placed between the center and right fielders, but it seemed like he might have been shading him to left a little bit. Set up away, ball comes back over the middle of the plate a little bit. John Jay tracks it down, but not before it's a double for Dobbs.
Some important outs here in the 8th and 9th inning for Mitchell Boggs and presumably Jason Mott. That pitch is low to Jose Reyes. Mitchell Boggs has been very good as the 8th inning guy. Numbers are good, his stuff's been good, and he's been more consistent this year than we've seen in other years.
I think from day one of spring training, Mike Matheny worked on the psyche of Mitchell Boggs. Lost a little confidence last year, and I don't think he really fully recovered from when he was sent down to the minor leagues. And
while he was pitching well,
he was a closer. He was a closer for a brief period of time. I think he got 3 or 4 quick saves. He blew one, and a couple days later he was in AAA. And when he came back up, I think he was always looking over his shoulder. And
well said. Hard to pitch that way.
If not impossible. But Mike tried to tell him, you are so important.
Descalzo has it. 2 outs for Boggs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 41,312 is our attendance here today.
Sun-baked, drenched.
They're gamers.
They're looking for relief, just like the Cardinals.
Cardinals would like to have a victory here today. Stay over 500 on this homestand. They've been 8-2 against the Marlins the last 10 times they've played them. So a victory here and a victory tomorrow would be a nice way to go into the All-Star break.
A lot of people can't understand why the Cardinals don't have a better home record, and I'm sure they will eventually.
Ground ball to the left side. Furcal has it. On the move, he throws out Ramirez. Smooth play. Good work by Mitchell Boggs. Tony Cruz, a 2-run triple in the 4th.
Tony's getting a lot of firsts against the Cardinals, but how about this play with the runner at third base, tie and run, do or die play, and I think Adam liked it. Either that or he's the reincarnation of Max Patkin.
I don't know what he's doing, but it sure is fun.
Winning is fun, Rick.
I agree. Watch out. Base hit up the middle for David Freese. He's been on base all 4 times, but that's his first hit. He's been hit twice and he walked.
First hit off of LeBlanc, working his 3rd inning. He had struck out 4, 3 in a row.
And it would be nice if the Cardinals could figure out a way to get an extra run.
No doubt.
Anxious moments in the top of the 8th inning for Mitchell Boggs.
Yep,
with that tying run at 2nd.
He got through the 8th.
Bunt back to LeBlanc. It's too hard, so they get the lead runner at 2nd. Daniel Descalzo, normally very good at bunting, just hit that one right back to the pitcher.
Gets the bunt down, but it carries too far. LeBlanc gets to it, goes right to the bag. Reyes right there. Doesn't do his job, and Tony Cruz can atone for it. But I was going to say, Ricky, that a lot of people are concerned about the Cardinals' home record and think it should be much better. But a lot of these visiting teams come in here and they think this is.
Line drive to center.
I think this is a great atmosphere, and they all love and enjoy playing here. So Robinson now will pinch hit for Boggs.
Well, they feel the energy here.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Especially look at a team like Miami that doesn't play in front of packed houses. You know, every player, and it shouldn't be, but you never want to embarrass yourself, but you definitely don't want to embarrass yourself in front of a full house. And normally Cardinals always have a packed house, or at least 40+ thousand, but in this kind of weather you can understand why this attendance is off a little bit, but they made up for it last night with over 47,000.
And the very successful replica ring giveaway last night. People absolutely love that.
First time I think they ever had a duplication of a giveaway, and the Cardinal fans spoke. They wanted another one.
Folks were lined up for hours to get one. LeBlanc throws out Robinson. The Cardinals 3 more outs to get, and it'll be up to Jason Mott to get them. West is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. By Taco Bell. Live Moss. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Our Nissan drive of the game, Justin Ruggiano hit a long one off of Kyle Loesch. That came in the second inning, 445 feet. Two-run shot, and that was the only blemish on the afternoon for Kyle Loesch, who went 7 strong innings. He's in line for the victory, and it'll be up to Jason Mott to close it out.
Jason has picked up saves in his last 5 outings, looking for number 20.
He is tied with Heath Bell for 4th most saves in the National League.
Tied for first with games finished.
Big swing from Lee, fouls it straight back. 1 for 8 in his career against Jason Mott. Lee has some interesting splits. He's much better during the day, hitting .342, and also much better against right-handed pitchers, which I find odd.
This one of the interesting, matchups now with Tony Cruz catching Jason Mott.
Right.
Everybody knows Jason's working on certain pitches, but will Tony Cruz maybe go to those secondary pitches more?
Fly ball to center. Out number 1 in the 9th. Coming up next, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris, day in and day out, doing a great job with that, along with Jim Hayes, running the show, and plenty to break down. This has been a good ball game, Al. 3-2.
Good ball game if the Cardinals win it.
I concur.
End up losing it, then it's one of those really troubling ones, and you look back and you say, well, they had many different opportunities once again to score more runs. They've stranded 9 runners.
Austin Kearns, the pinch hitter.
But we're not going to worry about that because it's going to be a 1-2-3 9th inning.
I wasn't worried till you brought it up.
You asked the question.
I know. 0-1. Good fastball from Jason Mott. 0-2.
Not only a good fastball, but it's just spotted very well down and away. I mean, much more perfect than that.
Swing and a miss. He blows it by Austin Kearns. Our Budweiser player of the game, 102 solid pitches from Kyle Loesch.
Jason Mott just overpowers this ball by Austin Kearns. Crowd on their feet, waiting for a Cardinal victory.
Logan Morrison is 0 for 3.
He's hit 2 big home runs against the Cardinals. He's the difference maker in last night's ball game, and then hit a pinch hit home run, the first of his career, in Miami to make a winner of the Marlins.
Ground ball to right side, base hit for Morrison. So it's not over yet. Morrison extends his hitting streak to 10 games. Justin Ruggiano at our Nissan drive of the game. Then he flew out and struck out. Cardinals have to face him one more time. Crowd showing some energy.
Ruggiano is from Texas, and his family owns just a small little ranch in Fort Stockton, Texas, 70,000 acres.
Line drive to center. Base hit.
Just adding a little drama before the final out. Seeing Ruggiano can hit a fastball. This is a cutter. And there's where you kind of question that. You know, if anybody hits a home run or a game winner off the fastball, you say so be it. But when you throw that little cutter and you leave it up over the middle of the plate, and you start thinking.
Donovan Solano played with many of these Cardinals on the way up to the big leagues.
Good pitch there, didn't get the call. Only Beltran would have a chance of throwing out the tying run at second. Concur?
Agreed. Very deep in left is Holiday, or average depth, I would say. Jay shading him a bit to right. That would be a hard throw. No chance to get Morrison.
Arnold batting .326, but not a lot of at bats. Looking for call.
Call a bit out of position when that pitch was thrown.
I mean, Jason Mott did not pay any attention to the shortstop that was almost standing at the second base bag when the pitch was made. You got Freeze semi-garden line at third, and if Fakal almost standing at second base, anything hit on around the shortstop area would have been a base hit.
2 outs in the ninth. Mott trying to close it out. Two out hits for Morrison and Ruggiano. They're your runners. The 1-2. Popped up, out of play, towards the Cardinals dugout. And we'll do it again.
A career minor league average of .260.
And a chance to do something here for the Marlins. Cardinals trying to chase the Pirates. The 1-2. Fouled back.
The battle. Pirates are leading San Francisco 3-1 with the Giants batting at the top of the 8th. So win this ball game and then don't even worry about that other one. You win your game, everything else will take care of itself.
Cardinals trying to do just that here in the ninth. Mott hoping for save. The 1-2.
Wasn't a bad pitch right there, because you're fouling off so many pitches. You throw something up around the eyes, and just your natural instincts is to swing because that's where your eyes are. But you do not want to go to a full count, so you want to end it right here on the 2-2 pitch.
3-2. Donovan Solano battling.
Now, no Cardinal outfielder can throw out the runner at second base, as the runners will be going 2 outs, 3-2.
And here it comes. Popped up. Tony Cruz sees it, and he makes the play. A Cardinal winner, 3-2. Mott the save. Kyle Loesch wins his 9th of the season.
Now, this was a good all-around game for the Cardinals, especially with the great pitching by Kyle Loesch. Picks up his 9th win and 20th save for Mott.
Don't go away. The Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live postgame show is coming up next.